this pacing, they could probably qualify. Question is, whenever it comes to Gen.G, it feels like they qualify, but then they're like 15, 16 every single time in the grand finals. So while group stage is good enough, when are we going to get the Gen.G that is the historic Gen.G?
Right, and I mean, you're looking for a player to start leading the charge, and it could be Tosi. I mean, he's been the one that even when, you bring Barpo onto the team when he had that great year in 2023, so they say, okay, we're going to bring Barpo in. He was the best player in PWS for a little while there, and he really couldn't get it done. So you saw that Tosi at the global level was the one performing, so now you're building around him and Orca. You bring Flame in. He had some really nice moments today. That fight he took in Tego was really, really good. So all these things, who knows? Maybe you're getting some kind of step-ups here for Gen.G.
I need to go find a stick and kind of do that whole hitting against AGAL and be like, do something, man. Yeah. This is a squad that we shouldn't be talking about when are they going to pop off. It should be every single game. How are they not popping off is the bigger question, because it feels like they're getting into firefights. Is it an overconfidence issue? I mean, I know we're just blind speculating right now, but this is a squad that if you drop them against another 4, it should be scary almost every single time.
Agreed. For me, one thing that concerned me going back to the Rondo game for them was not clearing their northern edge when the circle started closing to that hard southwest shift. Moves away from Stadium there, and there was BB Team above them, and I'm like, you guys got to clear that. BB Team is just going to slam into the back of you when you guys move up to that hillside. You got to do something about that, and they never did. And so it's, for me, I think a bigger thing is decision making right now. Like you're talking about, the individual talent is a known quantity on this team. You know that they could frag out of control.
But I mean, even early game firefights, where I would figure would be their most comfortable position to be playing from. We're not seeing the successes for it, but I'm not done and ready to count it out yet. But I am going to count out an island circle. Yeah,
pretty much not possible. If people want to see an island circle, the first circle basically has to be half land, half water.
Yep.
This one's a little too far shifted over, so I don't think it's very likely. You never know. Maybe we'll get that one in a couple thousand games that ends on one of the islands, but very unlikely is the sad state of affairs for those of us who love chaos in the circles. But for now, you're going to have teams like Ike, who the desk was talking about, really needs to step it up, have good early positioning, potentially.
And I mean, 17 Falcons at T1 and a 3-way fight for second right now is absolutely nutty. Nope, looks like Panadol already done. He's going to get finished off, so full sense, not really sensing out exactly where the Expendables were going to be at, but with the circle, Expendables going to be in a good spot. DK as well. Gen.G just going to be to the north of them. Burama to the further north of that position, but then over into the west, we're going to have ourselves Na'Vi, all with good inside track positions. So we've got a lot of water in the circle, yes, the islands, but we also do have those fields west of Impala that are going to eat up a lot of space. This has got a lot of very interesting shifts that it could go, or it could go hellaciously cruel.
Yeah, no, the fields are awful. They're really tough to play, and you're absolutely correct. So when you're looking at that, that's, as a fan, you're kind of hoping it doesn't go fields, and a lot of the players probably feel that way too, except for maybe Na'Vi or Gen.G or maybe even TE, who can get in there earlier, Geeke. But one thing I want to point out real quick about seeing that the Expendables get a kill early like that, that's often an indicator that they're going to have a pretty good game. They're a team that loves to go out, find those picks early, do some damage. They get this one for free, unlike the one on Erangel against Buriram. And if they can find that confidence, start winning these 1v1s, that's when they start to accelerate. That's when they start to find their comfort in their groove.
Well, PGC, where we saw the biggest successes with them, was whenever they were pulling off these tricksy plays and backstabbing people and just really reading the circles well. Yeah, we know that they've got a lot of fragging power, but in addition to just being highly charismatic, I'm looking at you, Duck Juice. Dude is just fun to be around if you guys didn't know.
He is.
But on top of that, it's just a squad that's a lot headier than sometimes they come off as. But I don't feel like we've been seeing that opportunistic Expendables as much.
Exactly. They haven't really found those opportunities. So, immediately I start looking at players like Delwyn, who we saw at PNC was so effective at going out on his own, finding that first kill, opening up that little bit of extra space for them to work with, that snowballed into good team fights, into good late games, that started to get them tremendous amounts of points as Team Vietnam. So you have Tanbu, you have Delwyn there. Clories is a tremendous fragger. He's played for the Vietnamese PNC team before as well. So you have great players on that. We know they won PGC, right? Like you can say they're great, and it's like, well, no kidding, you idiot. Like they won a global event, like yeah. But
one of the closest global events.
Yes.
It's not the closest.
Yeah.
I think that's the closest that it's ever been. Right?
Well, they had to come back from like 50 or 60 points down or whatever it was, and like I remember still talking to Duck Juice before that last day started. I'm going, man, you guys have a hell of a hill to climb here, and he goes, oh yeah, easy.
That's just how he is, man.
It's like, what?
Like, I don't know. That squad is so incredibly likable. So if you guys have not followed them on social media or checked out the stuff that's going on around them, I firmly recommend it. Even if you don't speak the language or anything else like that, support the squads from counter regions from you, and just enjoy whatever it is that they've got going on. Gen.G, early fight yet again, and it's going to be against GSW. It's going to be Sheldon.
Hey, he's all alone, though. He went for a little bit of an information gathering mission here for his team, and he might be paying the price. Orca's got to be so careful here as the one. Might give Xiaotong the opportunity to go for the flush. The rest of Gen.G wasn't in a position. That's a bit of a misstep here, I think, from Orca. He could have waited a little bit longer for the reinforcements to get there, but felt confident for some reason that he could take this fight. Now, they're still going to win it because of a good grenade from Bean, but you lose a player there, and now you have to be thinking, well, is the rest of GSW going to come in here and crash us? Are we ever going to get ourselves the opportunity to go for the revive? Because if we do, we got to go away from this currently safe, somewhat centralist position.
I mean, it's interesting whenever we look at Gen.G because there are some there's no nice way of saying it. There's some blatant weird things that happen sometimes that cost them pretty massively. But presently, they're in 6th place, above the Expendables, above BB Team, who just comes out, and then all the way down in 13th, one of the strongest squads that we can think of, AGAL, just not really finding anything yet. So we're in a weird situation with Gen.G where it almost feels like they're figuring out what's going wrong, but they're not quite at the stage to firmly cement in their play style or what's causing the issues.
Agreed.
But they're on the right path, at least.
Yes, it is getting better. That is for sure. I mean, Lakelo does a good job with those boys. He's been a long time veteran of PUBG Esports, so he certainly is capable of kind of getting them in the right mindset, getting them in the right direction. And we've seen that to some degree, where they've just kind of they're always hanging around, they're always doing well enough to kind of find themselves in final lobbies. But like you said, when they get to those final lobbies, that's where they usually crumble. So that's where I want to see them start to step up if they can get there. Toyo on the move up to the north. They got Buriram just to their south, and then Gen.G kind of repositioned just a little bit further south themselves to get a little bit more central circle here early. But Toyo just going to have to do some scouting. Not much going on around them unless CTG does something a little bit crazy.
Yeah, most teams are already inside the circle. Most of the Falcons about to cross in, make it into the safe zone. Rock down around Los Siones about to do the same thing. Sharper way down to the south around Puerto Priso most likely is going to be their pathing. There's a crate on the island, Paper.
Oh, well, that means we're going island then.
I mean, the circles follow the crates,
yeah,
right?
Maybe.
That's what I have been told.
That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true, but maybe Earth. He's in a glider. He could go pick that crate up. I mean, even if it doesn't go there, I mean,
because that's what I obviously do. I look to the island for loot every single time I'm driving around.
No, I don't think anybody's going to get it. But
I mean, that's probably the highest opportunity for it. We're just toying with Toby, who always wants to be looking at those island circles right now.
Oh yeah, we gotta give him a little love now that he's back with us. So GSW only 3 players here. That's the Falcons right next to them. H-Win. So darn close to this, but I don't think he got much info. Plus, you have a player up on the plateau there. CC could find a great strike here.
Oh, H-Win spotted it. Tries to juke back down. Is going to get spotted. Is CC going to line up a bit more? This is a big problem for Falcons. They're just coming in full reinforcements. Pop up at the top of the hillside, but CC gets another one. Finally, he goes down. But up on top, big problems. AZ wants to go for the flush, but can't quite connect the tail end of it. Let's not forget about Ming, though. He might have an angle.
This is just great work by CC there, keeping himself hidden for long enough that he could do some serious damage. Kick in trouble, has to go prone, and I think he just got down in time. But this is a consequence of GSW sending that player out early and losing them, so they just kind of had to stand pat, and Falcons didn't expect it or read it well enough, and great work by GSW to keep themselves hidden in these long flanked out positions. They're doing some crazy good damage to the Falcons.
H-Win looks like he's pretty much done too. Kickstart gonna get spotted. AZ just the high ground. It is so strong. now down to just Shrimzy. And what is he going to opt into doing? Looks like he's just got to leave his teammates behind. Play for safety, play for points. I mean, they're doing pretty good on the leaderboard right now, so not feeling too bad about it, but salvage what you can. And GSW, opportunity shoots them up quite a bit if you look at it. 3 points is a big difference down from the position they were playing at, now sitting in 11th place, tied up with Toyo.
Yeah, this is great stuff in a man down situation early in the game. To find points like this, that's got to give you some confidence that you can do some damage as this one goes on. I'm going to assume, I was going to say the crate is not going to dictate our circle this time around. Navi,
look, Twitch chat tells me things and I have to believe
I'm sorry.
it. Right?
I'm sorry you read that.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say Navi's popping an E pickup, but it might just be an info gathering little situation. T1's going to drive right down the half pipe there and try to figure out where they can go. This one is looking more and more likely that it's actually going to be that field ending that we were kind of concerned about. So you got to get real estate early here.
So there's a couple of points along the half pipe that you talked about that can be played, like most notably around the ramps. There are some opportunities, but it does not feel good. So curious to see what teams are going to go for as far as where they find strengths at. 17 is going to be the gatekeeping team, a bit ahead of what we're going to be looking at with Sharper. Well, I say gatekeeping, they're kind of moving as well. TE ahead of that, so they do have a way to breach in, but Bullsense just jumps out while he's doing a tight, but they do manage to pick him up. Ian starting to do some work of his own, picks up 2. Is he going to make it a 3rd? Tries to go for the runaround, stops off, peeks out and around. Bullsense is down, and Ian eats them all.
Dude, he is still just so good. I mean, he's even the IGL for this team too, and even though you're going to lose type, that's still a huge win for T1, and it's a lot of EN there, just playing that angle around that vehicle so well. An unexpected crash, and he handles it brilliantly. God, he's been so good for so long, and I'm so happy that he's gotten another chance here with a big org, just like in the past. They saw the potential with him. Sonic kept him around, had the trust to lead the
Tig's
team.
coming back. As a heads up, it looks like we did see the blue chip come into play. Shrimzy did find it. He couldn't get the other 2 members because they were down and slowly bleeding out.
Is he going to the island?
I mean, crate's there, bro.
Heck yeah. That actually, hilariously enough.
That could be big.
Well, the funny thing is the glider is near him for Sharper. So.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
I assume Earth is going to see that. Earth might have even seen the
No, he's
the
looking at the other side. Look, you can see the little arrow.
Yeah,
he's not even looking direct. I mean, nobody's expecting it.
Did he grab a boat? What is Earth doing out there? I don't know. But
no, he's in the glider. Isn't that what we saw?
Yeah, he should have been in a glider. But he stopped right at the coast of the island. Anyway, whatever. It's not that important.
No, this is highly important.
He did get the boat.
He stole a boat, so Tig's not going to have the boat that he thought was going to be there.
Oh, my God. If that's intentional, if he saw Tig and he's like, nah, I'm just going to steal a boat. There might be another one out there. I think there's a couple that spawn out by that island, but that's so funny.
All right, yeah. This is going to slow things down a bit. Shrimzy's way over on the other side of the circle entirely, still being kind of harassed by AZ in positioning. DB team still kind of grouped up. They're going to have Sharper that's going to be now encroaching in right back behind them. Most of our other teams have kind of settled into the fields. No big pushes yet. Really, it's just Sharper wanting to kind of bully their way into Impala.
Yeah, they've done a really great job with this late rotation of Sharper, using that glider nicely to get some info, able to regroup with a boat, able to find themselves some kind of territory. Now, it's not easy to fight out of there. Again, as if things continue to get funnel into the fields, you just have to start playing for kills around the edge, because as the game drags on, you're just getting into worse and worse positions. So Sharper has an opportunity, but BB needs big points as well.
Well, Sharper is very separated out. They've got several members that were trying to go more Impala. Circle does pop, and it is leading right in the fields. So T1's kind of split position along half pipe is going to be a bit scary. They're going to get a lot of friends about to come say hello, most notably 17, going to be the first ones on it. Rock, good position, playing from Cantera all the way down to the south pretty much. They've got a lot of space that they can kind of navigate, play those hillsides.
This is a big fight for AGL. They need to have some serious damage done to Toyo, and they're lighting them up with the blue zones pre-pop there. Toyo's just eating it. Tycon finishing what the blue zone grenade started. Nice stuff here for AGL. Oh, no.
Oh, steps back. That's fine. That's fine. Rebo doesn't manage to get one, but Mas does get the second follow-up, and Toyo is eliminated, and there are the kills that everybody was expecting coming out from game number 1, finally happening in game number 5.
Well, we talked about it, that when it comes to these kind of situations where they're in close quarters fights. Like, there should be no better team on the planet, you would think. It's in moments like that. You got Tycon Himas, they get 2 kills apiece. That's exactly what you want. See this from EN here with the AK even. Look at the way he's making sure he's safe with those sprays. Doesn't want to give himself up because he knows that he needs to be that anchor or the forward firing position. Meanwhile, Gen.G doing some more damage in this. Buriram can settle up here. There is this little mini canyon that's outside of this compound that's safe-ish. Just depends on if somebody crashes you from behind.
Well, Rock's actually got pincered points around it looking at, and there's about to be a 4th contender, as I believe it has changed the game. That has 2 of their members that are rotating over here. So we'll have to see, get some cover in, and you can see it's going to be Wimbo on the other side of this compound that's going to go stop off. T1 getting harassed at range from 17, who's got pretty much the God compound inside the circle right now.
Yeah, this was great early scouting by Lil Ghost for 17. I was watching him on the map, and he was able to get this position for free, and this is one of those power positions. This is the one Navi's in if Navi can get through it safely, which can be tricky because there's enough stuff around Navi's compound that is kind of playable. And meanwhile, CTG here, I thought for a moment they might use this dust storm to try to sneak their way into Navi or Buriram's positions, but they don't feel comfortable to do so. But regardless, 17 Navi looking like they're going to have really good late game potential as long as they can lock things down.
So Sharper's made a rotate, but it's kind of slowed down a regroup between the expendables. Tanvu's just going to be over to the east. The other members are going to be more down in south. But Sharper is going to try to use the sandstorm to kind of creep by, getting very close to BB, running right in between all of them. Are they headed towards the second part of this split that BB's got set up? They're going to spot him out there, but they're going to have to pump in a lot of damage. Just jumps into a vehicle, trying to use it for cover hits. I don't know. Is that how you make new cars?
I believe so. I think Pansy would have something fun to say about that one. But this is just Maldoc trying to break that BRDM. Now the 7.6 guns will shred those things pretty quick. So you can see already on very low health is that BRDM. It is in danger of being blown up very quickly. So Sharper has to make a decision making now, and it's right into T1.
I don't know if this is the decision you wanted to make. Jumps out, and it's just a ton of bullets already lined in. Does get the knock onto Raining, but that is going to be all she wrote and should be reserved.
Man, T1, they even got the res here onto Tight, so this is crazy good stuff for them. It was Raining who actually just drove out of the circle. I saw him driving away as 17 was making, what in the world's going on here? 17's crumbling.
Well, they're outside the circle, so they were trying to make a run into this angle. They get caught off. While this is going on, T1's trying to regroup. It looks like the Expendables might be trying to make a path into them. DK is already wrapping around the very far north. Rock also has to make a push in by themselves. BB just doesn't have very many options, so they're going to play the northern section, but they're going to be wrapping into Buriram in just a second. Stop off before they bump into them. Rock will have the high ground on them in just 1 second, but with everything that's going to be happening all out and around, there's not too much more that can work with. BB just going to take a ton of damage, but exchanges in bullets is getting knocks on Buriram's side as well.
That's even exchanges there. T1 starting to crumble underneath the Expendables, who drove up into their backside right after Sharper. So a couple big battles happening here on the map, but this one very crucial for BB to get further. And Navi wants some of this too. They're starting to peek up and over. A grenade from Hakatori is going to finish Edie off. So that's 1 point there for Navi, but I think they saw Rock coming up on the hill. Yeah, H1's back too. So Tiggleton died out in the blue. He wasn't able to get back. But Shrimsy got some revenge. I saw off screen. He did some damage to GSW as they were trying to drive in.
I mean, take one down, pass it around, get you a new Falcons player. I guess is the way it's working right now. Okay, Rock, you've got the high ground, but everybody else is in the low ground, and they don't like you right now. And so every peak is going to get pretty punished. Shrimsy does get the flush onto what was, I believe, one of the Rock members, but H1 is going to go down. Navi kind of caught up in more what's going on around them at the time. Heather for T1 did move in very close to the northeast. They were wanting to see if maybe they can kind of survive out here for now, but 17 also going to encroach in from the southeast, as this is the compound where all of the party is going on.
Yeah, Falcons do eventually fall. Shrimsy doing a great job this game, just salvaging anything he could there for them. So that was a really difficult situation they found themselves in, came out of it nice. Fantastico, let's loose. There's so many players right there. If that grenade is on, they are dunzos. There are mortars raining out as well, but I think the grenade, it just did splash a little bit of damage in there, it looked like, but not quite on the point enough there. BB able to get back to the safety of their bus and their smokes for now.
Remember, this is pretty much open field, so everybody is just kind of hunkered down in that path right along the road, or you are around this compound. Rock is just to the west of that, in the high ground, looking down at everybody rotating. They can harass. They have so much control. So the team in first place, having control of so much of the circle already, really the only team they can't harass is going to be Na'Vi that's in compound. 17 trying to make a desperation play, but it is going to be Aries that does spot him out.
I'm curious what the Expendables want to do there. They're just going to try to fan out in the fields and just try to play for the late game here. Circle is very much in favor of doing that. You kind of assume that everybody on the west side is just going to beat each other up. There's so many teams that are stuck around Na'Vi's compound there that really you only have to worry about like Gen.G. Essentially until that fight kind of concludes over on your west is the Expendables. So they are really doing a nice job navigating this game. They did wipe out T1 previously, so they're in a position where they could get pretty deep into this one.
This is a pretty scary road. We've got the Expendables down to the south and AGAL up to the north. GK is going to be very close to them. Gen.G in the compounds in the middle could get a lot of attention. Tycon already knows exactly where GK is going to be at. Blue Zone Aid's going to come out. Not probably going to force them out of the compound of safety for the time being.
Fantastico? Hello?
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's hitting mortars?
The nades didn't work, so the mortars worked.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Go to plan B, which was way better than plan A, it turns out.
Yeah, sometimes it do be like that.
Man, oh my God, he's getting the flushes too. This is so brutal for BB team. And now you got one player, very low health, stuck behind the bus. But let's listen into Rock here for a moment.
어디 소리 들리지 않았냐? 3번 쪽, 3번 쪽, 1번 쪽 여기네. 나비가
Deixa eu pegar minha DMR,
Ele pode ter rilado um agora, não?
não,
finalizei.
faz só.
Eu tenho uma nade, mano.
Vem cá.
Mano, qualquer coisa dá pra vocês descer.
Dá pra nós parar aqui e cravar nele, não, Bel?
Vocês descer assim pra matar os dois.
Vamos tentar mirar ele,
Ele tá lá.
Atrás do Jeep.
Só. Vamos, vem, desce.
Bora. Bota a DMR, primeiro.
Okay, what are you going to do? Looks like it's going to be sent down the hillside. Can we see some BB revenge, or is the car going to be enough cover? Looks like it is going to provide it. They do manage to make landfall right over there next to Bestalock. New set of nades coming out, going to make Bestalock have to run for the hillside, but remember, Gen.G is going to have vision on a new angle. AGAL as well, but they're kind of caught up looking at GK right now. This has just kind of turned into a catastrophe for everybody over here. Bestalock is going to go down. Fantastico finally does spot him out as the kill count continues to climb for Rock.
And Na'Vi now realizes that they've got a weakened Rock top team here in this lobby, and they have a chance to just knock him out of this game for now. They've already gotten one knock there. Sosid stretching out, finding some good damage. Tycon continuing to rock and roll up on the north, man. That is AGL starting to pick up some steam potentially. Still a tough fight for them against a dug-in GK. So to see if they can keep that up. But I was kind of hoping that when we got the listen in with Rock that they had a C4 play up their trick. Like when I saw the motorcycle come through, I'm like, oh, please tell me someone has a C4 and you're just going to yeet it at Na'Vi or something.
AGAL, looks like it's time to make some decisions. Circle stays pretty centered, so Gen.G going to be the beneficiary of that. Kind of, Heather. Kind of. Can't really say too much more than that. AGAL very surrounding DK right now, and DK trying to see if they can weather the storm of bullets coming after them from both sides, but it has kind of caused this entrenched, slowed down game. Na'Vi does take out the last member of CTG that was just down to their south, so they should have a bit more options in rotation, as I believe Rock did get a res. So they're back up to 2. Means that we've got pretty much Heather for T1, Gen.G in a good spot, the Expendables right along the half-pipe road, so should be able to find themselves a good spot for now. And a firefight up into the north to see who can get control over it, and everybody else just going to be making a mad dash in.
Yeah, smokes are out. Grenade there. Doesn't get in. It bounces outside as the heel's trying to come through. And, they're still not able to get him in there. So AGAL not really finding the more, just not getting inside of there. The smoke's kind of working against him. Hymas able to at least find one, though. Spyro with an MP5 trying to do some damage there. And Tycon will go down for that. There's no backup here. Spyro still holding on.
He's just entrenched, and he's slowed down the pacing of everything. This has become a big problem. GK knew that they were in trouble, but this is allowing a new set coming up from Rock. Spyro just comes out and is dirty. Make sure to secure the kill, does get another knock, and now AGL in a lot of trouble. Dipex is still alive over on the other side of the road. Rock is now set up. They've got their 2 members in there. They still want some more out of this. So now AGL, who is setting the pace, blows a ton of utility doesn't get much out of it. Heather, though, does manage to use some utility pretty efficiently, doing some jukes around, tries to get some more, but does get the knock on to extends. Theyrist finishes him off.
Oh man, he just barely missed there after that first seat swap. He could have had 2 quick ones and maybe done more damage, but now the Expendables going to try to use that opportunity to make a move. Flame has eyes on it. Flame's got some damage down, almost gets the knock on a Delwyn. Another couple good shots landing, but isn't able to connect enough to get a player on their knees for the Expendables, and they're trying to reposition. They're trying to use those cars to block off Gen.G's angle. They're going to fan out a little bit west, see what they can claim while Navi's recouping.
This is an interesting kind of wrap choice that they're going to use, because there is a couple of little divots, as you can see, that's going to be along this hillside that they can kind of sneak in. They've been watching it for quite a while, so they know exactly where Navi's going to be positioned. Up to the north, it looks like K is going to try to make a pretty desperate rotate as well. I think that they managed to get through for the time being, but Rock has managed to spot them out. Does get the knock onto one. Navi is just trying to stay alive for the time being, and the Expendable is just going to start a continued tear over here, it feels like. Santastico has spotted out. Looks like he might actually be coming over here doing some reinforcements. Glorious doesn't even care. He's going over and getting like loot right now. He's like, nah, you guys got this.
Yeah. You guys are doing enough damage. Oh, perfect timing.
You got this.
Perfect timing there, right? As Sosa was trying to throw some util, and the Expendables just dislodged Navi, no problem at all. Gen.G hanging on to the edge of the circle here on the east, just trying to play gatekeeper as best as they can, but this has opened up space here for the Expendables. Maybe Tosi hitting some good shots, taking Duck Juice down momentarily, but the Expendables have claimed these hay bales that are on the other side of the road, so Gen.G gonna have to fight their way out. Some util in their hands. You can see there, Bean still has a frag, still has some smoke, so they've got some toys to work with.
Okay, what do you have in the tank, Gen.G? You've got the compound, but you're up against PGC champion and present leaderboard top of the guy right now in Rock. Rock's in a bit more of a, I guess, desperate situation given the fact that they don't have as much numbers nor as much cover, as it's kind of bouncing around and flying off to the heavens here and there as it's exploding. But they have been very proactive as Rock is sitting at 8 kills up alongside the Expendables, both just kind of cutting a path into the circle.
Yeah. Honestly, that van explosion is pretty nice for Santastico for now. That gives them a pretty nice angle on top of the Expendables, and it's helping that Gen.G's putting some pretty good damage down too. So, you know, it's a tough position to be in as the Expendables. They took a great hit against Navi, but, you know, trying to find these reses, having to use a lot of smokes to make any kind of positioning happen. And you know, Cloris is in the circle, sure, but, you know, you had to do these reses on the backside. Gen.G's going to be very tunneled in on you. Yep, there you go. Bean as well finding damage, and that's going to be their go signal to try to make their strike.
Got to be a bit careful. BL might have some vision. And Bean's doing a good job on providing cover, enough for them to at least cross over into the road. Can they step in secure? The Expendables, though, are reacting so fast. They're shifting directly back into this, but trying to set up some utility. Looks like they were maybe trying to throw a nade and get caught with their pants down.
Yeah, that's tough for the Expendables. Gen.G playing this extremely well. They recognized that situation that Cloris was on his own, and they could capitalize. TE was trying to change direction to see if they could do something about it, but by the time they did, Gen.G already had that hillside under their control, had the safety of that cover. They have an anchor position with Bean, who's continuing to rain from that building. Really well thought out here by Gen.G.
So the hay bales that we can see BL playing from are the new focus, and that's good for Gen.G. They realize they have the strength of the road, so they can kind of wrap whichever way they want, except for the angle that BL's holding down. Bean's trying to counter move into that. Santastico's trying to hold him back, so that's why you can kind of see the crossfire. BL down to the lower section of what's going on with Gen.G. Well, it's going to be Santastico trying to see if he can kind of corral the Expendables into Gen.G, or maybe stop Bean from getting any angles onto BL, because right now, this crossfire is all that Rock has to work with. They've got near on no cover, and they're going to have to be making some movements. Gen.G has much easier pathing options, but they have the focus of the entirety of the lobby on them.
Yeah, so it comes down to Gen.G playing safe. And if you get lucky, maybe Rock and the Expendables just end up kind of mutually assured destructioning each other. As you do have to be careful there, able to get back behind the hay bale. So BL going to go for the vehicle on the other side. Tanvu Delwyn just trying to wait this out as long as they can, but you know, Tanvu in particular on the worst edge of the circle possible, so making a move forward going to be tricky. I have no idea if he even has any smokes because they used so many just not too long ago. I don't think this is going to be very doable for them unless somehow they found some more util.
Especially because Flame has just been having one hell of a day right now. He's the guy that's holding back the Expendables, so see how he can handle with the 2v1 focus lined up against him. Tosi looks like he's going to be the guy that's going to have to deal with BL. So a lot of kind of 1v1, 1v2 fights, given the fact that there are still 4 members up. Santastico, though, does have some focus on what he's going to be looking at with the Expendables, while they are managing to try to creep in. Bean's going to be the one that spots out Tanvu, does get the knock onto him. Flame took a lot of damage out of that, but should have enough time to maybe get this res off for the Expendables. Is Flame going to be able to creep forward? He's going to start running out of cover here in a second. Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably going to shift down into the road, so BL moves, that opens up the road, Flame just jumps in and takes it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of extra juice in that blue zone backpack for Flame there, so he could survive just a little bit longer. Delwyn putting some fire down, a little bit of damage done, at least keeping Gen.G honest below the hillside, but for now he has no helmet. That's a real big problem for him, especially at this angle, because that's what's going to be offered to Gen.G when he starts peeking up.
I mean, he has like, what, maybe one strap of armor left? Just a dangling piece that's blowing in the wind is the only cover he's got, as we are now in phase number 9, and it's all going to come down to the center. Santastico's pretty close to it right now, being on the other side of it. Odd team out is going to be the Expendables. Already dropped down on their belly, is going to have to crawl forward, and this is going to be very, very brutal for everybody, pretty much except for Gen.G.
Look at what Gen.G's done here. They're using these smokes to cut off rocks, angles onto them, so they can focus onto the Expendables, knowing that it's going to be really difficult for Rock to make a wide swing up to their southeast, or excuse me, to their northeast, to try to kind of hammer onto Gen.G. And yeah, there you go. Flame's got Tanvu down. That's another point over to Gen.G. Looks like they might be in cruise control here. It's just going to come down to maybe them versus Rock if they can finish off Delwyn.
A lot of pressure going to be on Bean. There's the nade. Flame picks up another one. So 3v2. Can we see the lineups come up? Santastico sitting at 5 kills right now. He has been absolutely rocking this lobby. Flame on the other side, though, starting to feel it. Throws out all the nades right into Santastico's face. He braves it. Counter utility coming out, but BL is going to go down. Tosi now leading the way. Santastico gets some damage on a Tosi, but there's a follow-up. Santastico takes down Bean.
We've seen this before from Santastico, what he can do in these moments. He's hit big 1v3s before. That is going to be point confirmed for Tosi as Gen.G takes a pause. Santastico takes damage. He takes a stun. He can prone down. I think he's actually maybe safe there if there's no more frags or mollies.
For the time being, problem is the blue zone is right at his heels. He knows he has to move. So much utility now coming out. He wants it, but he cannot find it. It is going to be Gen.G picking up the victory.
Yeah, that's extremely well handled from Gen.G. You know, losing a player early, right? Remember, back to the very beginning of that game, they lost Orca to GSW, and they're able to hang on, lock down their positions, find their moments, isolate fights, pick teams apart piece by piece, and not give anything else over.
Well, understanding your win conditions in that circle in the territory you need to control. They realized how their lineups were. They did a great job of defending against it. And shout out to the Expendables as well as Rock. There is no easy mode for these guys right now. They want every single point that they can get. They are hungry and they want to prove themselves, and Gen.G just played very clean in-game to deny them out.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Expendables played this game very, very well. I mean, finding their moment to strike on a T1 to knock everybody but Heather out, claiming that southern edge for themselves, being able to work pretty methodically there. Again, they did something similar to Gen.G where they're picking teams apart piece by piece, making their moves, and then they get that moment on the Na'Vi when they can just make it rain with grenades and wipe them off the board. That's the Expendables you want to see, that smart, calculated, aggressive style.
Well,